Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. Anyone can win the lottery, but homeless people need money more than others. Imagine being homeless at one of the lowest points of your life, living on the streets, only to be blessed with a lottery win. That's the story of the people we're about to show you in this video. Here are 10 homeless people who won the lottery. Watch out for number 1, as it will completely shock you. So let's get into it. Number 10. Michael Engfors. Nobody gets justice. People only get good luck or bad luck. This quote turned out well in the case of this guy. Once upon a time, 64-year-old Michael Engfors of Aspen, Colorado, built doors, shelves, and wood trim for an exclusive resort town before losing his job during the recession and becoming homeless in 2010. He began living in the Aspen homeless shelter. In order to survive, he worked odd jobs and one day decided to use 10 of his hard-earned dollars to buy a scratch card. Much to his surprise, he hit the $500,000 jackpot, a 1 in 840,000 chance. Michael initially kept the win to himself and spent one final weekend sleeping on the floor of a nearby church. Shortly thereafter, he revealed that he would like to use the money to buy some skis and to try and reconnect with his daughter, who he hadn't seen for nearly 2 decades. Number 9. Laszlo Andraszek. Laszlo Andraszek, a 55-year-old man from Hungary, ended up on the streets after debt and unemployment drove him out of his home. In an act of hopeless optimism, when traveling to Budapest for an alcoholics workshop in 2013, he bought a lottery ticket with the last coins in his pocket and actually won. Now with 630 million Hungarian forints, approximately 1.7 million pounds in his bank account, the formerly homeless man is one of Hungary's biggest lottery winners. At first, Laszlo kept his winnings quiet, but his stroke of luck quickly reached the headlines after he made a major donation to a homeless shelter. When asked about his future plans, Laszlo told the media that despite being a recovering alcoholic, he's determined to be careful with the money and would like to use it to help addicts and abused women. Grabbing the opportunity to start with a clean slate, he also vowed to pay off his debts and treat himself to a holiday in Italy. Number 8. Steve Borick. In July of 2015, 57-year-old Steve Borick was living on the streets in Vancouver, British Columbia, and one day on a whim, he decided to try his luck on an $8 Keno ticket and won $25,000. He was thrilled, hoping this meant he would be indoors and warm come the harsh winter months, but he hit a snag. In order to claim his winnings, he needed a valid photo ID, which he lost years before. And to obtain that, he needed his Montreal, Quebec birth certificate, which he also didn't have, and that also, ironically, required a photo ID to obtain. He tried for nearly 5 months to get the proper ID to claim his prize before the CBC News came across his story and offered to help, and within a matter of weeks, he was able to get new papers and finally claim his money. Number 7. Victor Herrera. Can you handle the Miami heat? Despite Miami being known for its beautiful coastline and diverse culture, Victor Herrera had just about had enough of his hometown, especially the unbearably hot and humid summers. Recently divorced and homeless, Herrera and his son moved in with his sister in a cramped apartment without air conditioning. Uncomfortably hot and unable to sleep, Herrera left the apartment one August night and walked to the gas station for a bag of ice. He left with a $5 lottery ticket instead. With the odds of winning the grand prize at 1 in 15 million, Herrera couldn't believe it when he won the $250,000 jackpot. Running back to the apartment to wake up his sister and son, Herrera excitedly told them the news as they packed their bags and headed for a hotel, where they turned on the air conditioner full blast. Since then, Herrera has used his winnings to purchase a home and move his son to a better school. As thanks to his sister, Herrera even bought her a new air conditioner to make those Miami summers a little more bearable. What a guy. Number 6. Emily Reyes. Living just off the famous Route 66, in a town known for its truck stop steaks, Reyes was part of a growing homeless population when a drug and alcohol habit left her in jail after stealing to support her addiction. Emily Reyes was homeless, desperate, and addicted to drugs and alcohol. She hit rock bottom when she landed in jail for stealing to support her addiction. And when she was released from jail, she decided to pull her life back together. Therefore, she checked herself into a women's shelter and clawed her way back to sobriety. She was celebrating 6 months of sobriety when she purchased a lottery ticket and won $200,000. She planned on starting fresh with that money and also shared some of it with some other women at the shelter. Number 5. Crystal Nelson. Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. Crystal Nelson can very well relate to this quote. Despite living in a vehicle, Crystal Nelson considered herself to be lucky. She had won $1,000 in a lottery, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, she had to live in a truck with her friend. Crystal worked as a carrier for a local newspaper, and one day she purchased a Powerball ticket. Hoping for the best, she ended up winning $50,000 and had big plans to fulfill, like most of us would have. Crystal didn't intend to change her lifestyle and still planned to take things one day at a time. However, she did plan to own a few things to make her life easier, such as getting a new apartment, buying a new vehicle, and maybe even go on vacations to meet her brother in Arizona. Calling a parking lot your home becomes quite depressing. Therefore, Crystal was extremely excited to own a place. Moreover, once she got settled, Crystal spent some of the money to help her brother pay off his house so he could own something as well. Number 4. Dennis Mahurin. When it comes to homeless lottery winners, there are some unusual stories. Dennis Mahurin, who has lived in a tent in Illinois since 1978, won $50,000 with a lottery scratch-off. However, instead of using his winnings to put a roof over his head, Dennis had no intention to move. He simply upgraded to a better tent. Aside from using his small fortune to get better gear for himself for the woods, he planned on getting some much-needed dental work done, visit his son, and save the rest. Then, of course, he couldn't forget about all the homeless people around him. He said that he was going to give them each $100. He also joked that he would leave some money aside for his new friends, who he was sure would appear once news spread of his lottery winnings. Number 3. Grant Freeman. Welcome to Sin City. You might think this is an unusual addition to this list, since there isn't a state lottery in Nevada, because of the wide array of gambling from the casinos to the gas station. Like so many others, Freeman headed to Sin City with the hopes of striking it rich on the Strip, but ended up losing all of his money. With no other choice but to live on the streets, Freeman spent most of his days collecting coins from tourists, only to dump what little he collected into the slot machines at night. Tired of panhandling among dozens of other homeless people lining the Strip, Freeman hitchhiked 40 miles west to California, where he spent $2 worth of pennies on a pair of Mega Millions lottery tickets. With his hopes running high, the odds were finally in his favor, and he won $8 on the first ticket, and a whopping $180,000 on the second ticket. Having learned his lesson about living in Sin City, Freeman decided to settle down in California, where he turned his life around. He continues to play the lottery every now and then. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and you want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. This is a Photoshop picture because the two women shown in the picture are not the same person. It's actually two different people. But we definitely get the idea before the picture, as many people like to show off their money after they win the lottery. Yes, you guessed it right, we're talking about the disgraced Michael Carroll, who won $9.7 million in a lottery at the age of 19, but ended up wasting all of it. Now his weekly salary is $300. What a fall from grace. Number 1. Emily Leach gives lottery ticket to a homeless person. This is the most unusual lottery winner story you'll hear today. Emily Leach had the good fortune to wake up from a tumor-induced coma in 2012, and a few months later, she won $1 million in the state lottery. She found the winning $10 ticket among 40 she had purchased from the liquor and tobacco store. When she scratched the winning number on the $250 million cash spectacular sweepstakes ticket, she reportedly locked herself in her car and frantically called her mother, who thought she'd been in a car accident. The chances of winning the lottery were 1 in 1.2 million. Crazy? Well, the story doesn't end there. Emily purchased another winning scratch-off ticket from the same liquor and tobacco store where she won $1 million 3 months prior. As an act of charity, Leach said she planned to give a man who was begging for help outside the store a $100 bill, but she inadvertently also handed over the winning lottery ticket. The homeless man ended up winning $260,000. Emily lost the chance of making another $250,000. How crazy is that? Which one of these people do you think was the luckiest? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.